Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we turn your source material into, well, immediate actionable knowledge.
That's the goal.
And if you're listening because you want to crack the code on building wealth quickly but properly, this deep dive is all about the millionaire mindset.
Yeah, and we really have to start with the data points in your sources because the big one, the one that kind of jumps out, is that 79% of millionaires, they're self-made.
79%. Wow.
Right, and that figure, it just sort of blows up the whole myth that wealth is just for the lucky ones, or inherited. It tells us the real difference isn't some genius-level IQ or a trust fund. Fundamentally, it's about mindset, a specific way of thinking, an internal programming shift.
Absolutely. So we're kind of done with just wishing for financial success here. Our mission today is really to unpack this 30-day wealth makeover that we found in the material. It's like a practical guide moving you from just dreaming about a goal to actually design the systems to get you there.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Phase 1 in the sources, it's all about rewiring for abundance.
Right.
And the groundwork, it really starts in week 1. And it's about taking apart that scarcity thinking piece by piece.
Okay, this first step, it sounds almost too simple.
Okay.
But it seems like it has huge leverage. You literally list every limiting belief you have about money.
Every single one you can identify.
And then you actively rewrite them, turn them into empowering statements. It feels like performing surgery on your own financial subconscious.
It kind of is. It's about catching those quiet negative scripts, the ones that run in the background, before they basically dictate your financial life.
Yeah.
And the sources give this fantastic, really specific tactic here. It defines the whole psychological pivot. You stop saying the common phrase, I can't afford it.
Which we all say.
All the time. And you replace it with a strategic question. How can I afford it? And that simple switch, it just instantly changes the conversation in your head. It goes from this fixed wall, this limitation, to basically a problem that needs solving.
That makes sense. I think everyone carries those kinds of verbal legacies, don't they? There's that anecdote about Lincoln in the sources.
Right, the money doesn't grow on trees guy.
Exactly. He realized his dad's phrase, probably well-meaning.
Oh, almost certainly.
Had basically installed this deep scarcity belief. That money was finite, super hard to get. It wasn't even about the literal meaning, was it? It was the subtle message underneath. Effort means struggle, and there's never enough.
That's the emotional anchor you have to cut first. And once you start challenging that mental block, you build new habits. The sources really emphasize that by week 3, this mental shift needs backup.
Okay.
Daily rituals. Specifically, they mention gratitude, visualization, and using positive language consistently.
Okay, gratitude, positive language, I get that. But visualization, why does that fundamentally change financial behavior? It can sound a bit fluffy. What's the actual mechanism there?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's not magic. It's really about programming your brain's filter. The reticular activating system, the RAS.
Ah, right. The thing that notices red cars when you think about buying one.
Precisely. Visualization basically forces your brain to create a mental map of what success looks like, smells like, feels like. So when you visualize finding opportunities, your RAS starts actively spotting them in your everyday life.
Opportunities you might have just ignored before.
Exactly. Things you were filtering out just last week. And gratitude. That reinforces the feeling that good things are already happening. It pulls you out of that constant feeling of lack.
Okay, so that makes it sound much more practical, less mystical. And the environment piece is big too, right?
Yeah.
The stress swapping, mindless scrolling for focused learning.
Definitely. Books, targeted content like podcasts, and critically, this is huge, surrounding yourself with people who think bigger. They talk about wealth communities.
Wealth communities. What does that really mean in practice? Not just like joining a club.
It's more than just networking coffees, yeah.
Yeah.
What the sources seem to mean is groups focused on shared financial action and accountability. It's about shifting your social default, moving from circles that mostly discuss, daily dramas or complaints.
We all know those circles.
Right, to circles where the default conversation is about investment strategies or scaling a business or analyzing a deal. It makes growth feel like the normal atmosphere, not the exception.
That definitely forces a shift.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move to the next logical step, the mindset shifting. But then comes phase 2. This is where mindset meets metrics, strategy, goals, action, week 2 stuff.
Exactly. And the first big strategic piece here is defining a 10-year financial vision.
10 years. It's long term.
It is. And it needs to be incredibly detailed. Not just be rich. What's the desired net worth number? What does the ideal lifestyle actually look like day to day? And, this is crucial, what kind of impact do you want that wealth to have?
Impact. Why is that important?
Well, the sources suggest that wealth without a clear purpose often lacks staying power. The why fuels the how when things get tough.
Okay, that makes sense. And the approach they suggest is fascinating reverse engineering. You set that huge 10-year goal,
Your North Star.
and then you work backwards. Break it down into yearly goals, quarterly, even monthly actions. It takes the sheer scariness out of that big number.
It makes it manageable. But central to hitting any of those goals, any of those milestones, is mastering delayed gratification.
Ah, the classic marshmallow test principle.
Basically, yes. The sources are really clear on this. You have to learn to prioritize future wealth over immediate present comfort. If you can't delay that impulse buy, that easy spend, you just won't build sustainable wealth. It's a discipline.
Let's loop back to Lincoln for a second. He had that $2 million net worth goal. Big number. How did he actually bridge that gap, especially coming from that scarcity background?
Perfect question. Because that specific number, $2 million, not just more money, it gave him the necessary gravity, the pull.
Right.
It forced him to move past just wishing. He had to analyze his current income, and he realized pretty quickly one income stream wasn't going to cut it. Not for that goal.
So the goal itself demanded action.
It demanded multiple income streams. He started building them because the goal required it.
And importantly, those streams didn't start big, right? Week 4, action and automation. This is where the theory hits reality. Lincoln started freelance writing for, what, $25 an article?
$25, tiny start.
Seems tiny.
But the key takeaway there is that scalability often comes from simple, consistent action. He built systems. He tested that one new income stream writing, and he set up automated investments, small, consistent steps.
Right.
And that dedication, over time, scaled that small $25 an article gig into a 6-figure business. It just proves that consistency, not some bolt of lightning brilliance, is what drives large-scale success.
So Lincoln's story shows building steady, scalable wealth through systems. But doing that, taking those first steps, it requires courage.
Calculated courage.
Which brings us nicely to phase 3, calculated boldness versus reckless gambling.
Yes, and this might be the most critical distinction in the whole deep dive, I think. Millionaires, according to these sources, are decisive. They don't just sit around waiting.
They don't wait for the perfect moment that never comes.
Exactly. They analyze the risks, they make a solid plan, and then, this is key, they act. Wealth grows when you take calculated action. It doesn't grow from the sidelines.
Okay, let's dig into that real-world case study from the sources, the $13,000 industrial property investment. The motivation behind it was so human, stemming from being stuck inside during COVID.
Yeah, that desire for a dream home, specifically with a balcony,
Right?
recognizing how much your environment actually impacts your quality of life, it's relatable.
Totally.
And that very personal why fueled the necessary homework. The due diligence for what was definitely a calculated risk. The investor didn't go for flashy condos. They focused on an industrial property. Warehouses, factories.
Kind of boring stuff, maybe.
Unsexy, perhaps,
Yeah.
but practical.
Why industrial, though? What was the specific calculation mentioned?
Okay, so industrial properties, typically they offer 2 big advantages, especially for someone maybe just starting out or looking for stability. 1, stable rental income. Businesses usually sign longer leases than residents.
Oh, reliable cash flow.
Exactly. And 2, generally lower maintenance costs compared to residential, fewer leaky toilets and emergency calls in the middle of the night. It just minimizes headaches and boosts predictability.
Okay, but hold on. They put in $13,000 cash alongside others, and the sources say they never even visited the property.
I know, right?
That sounds, frankly, terrifying. How on earth did they justify that level of detachment? How was that calculated and not just reckless?
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? That's what separates calculation from a gamble. The risk was managed through extensive and probably quite boring due diligence.
Not just gut feel.
Absolutely not gut feel. Okay, step 1. They knew someone personally involved in that specific investment community. Trust, but verify.
Okay, personal connection.
Step 2, they actually met the organizer, the person putting the deal together, in person. Verified their identity, got a sense of their intent. Face-to-face matters.
Right, builds confidence.
Step 3. They confirmed the deal wasn't some secret backroom thing. It was shared openly in a public Telegram group. Transparency.
So others could see it too.
Exactly. And the final, absolute crucial step.
Checking the numbers, making sure they actually added up.
Precisely. They verified the projections, the logic. And they specifically noted that during that acute phase of COVID, market uncertainty was creating genuinely undervalued deals if you knew where to look and had the nerve.
So the context mattered.
Hugely.
Yeah.
And the result, after 4 years, a 47% return on that 13 grand. That's over 10% a year, compounded. The logic, backed by the homework, trumped the fear. That's calculated boldness.
That's a great practical example. And to give this idea some historical weight, the sources bring up Hetty Green, the witch who outsmarted Wall Street.
Ah, Hetty, what a character. Her strategy wasn't some arcane secret. It was just patience, courage, and contrarian thinking.
Contrarian, meaning she went against the crowd.
The ultimate contrarian. While everyone else was caught up in market frenzy and chasing quick wins, Hetty Green stayed calm. When markets panicked, what did she do?
She bought.
She stocked up on cash before the panic, and then, yes, she calmly scooped up quality assets, stocks, bonds, real estate that others were dumping in fear.
She understood that serious wealth is often built when you act opposite to the emotional herd.
Patience and nerve. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the calculated, sustainable approach. We absolutely have to contrast that with the cautionary tale mentioned, the movie Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, Goodfellas is like the perfect cinematic masterclass in unsustainable high-risk, well, let's call them systems.
Built on very shaky ground.
Extremely shaky. The lure of that fast, untaxed cash, the flashy lifestyle, it looks great for a scene or two, but it inevitably leads to disastrous cash flow problems. Why? Because the wealth isn't systematic.
It's not repeatable or stable. Not at all. It relies on constant high drama, illegal acts, and total instability. There's no foundation. So when the system inevitably breaks down or the risks catch up, poof, the money's gone. Because there were no real, legal, scalable income streams underneath it all.
The lesson there feels really stark. A boring, stable, scalable income stream like Lincoln's writing-turned-consulting business eventually became is infinitely better than a temporary, high-drama windfall built on, well, sand.
Or illegal activity, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the litmus test for you, the listener, right now. Look at your own income streams. Are they scalable? Are they stable? Or do they depend on constant hustle, unsustainable energy drains, or maybe taking unexamined risks?
Good question.
Because real, lasting wealth is built on predictable, analyzed systems, not just hoping for lucky breaks or temporary windfalls.
So as we kind of wrap this deep dive up, the big picture that emerges from these sources isn't really about finding some secret stock tip or magic formula.
Not at all.
It's much more of an internal journey, isn't it? An internal transformation.
Exactly right. The biggest wealth secret, if you can call it that, isn't some complex algorithm nobody understands. It's proving to yourself that you can actually do the research.
The boring homework part.
The boring, essential homework part, that you can face the very real fear that comes with taking action and then execute a calculated plan. The sources are pretty clear. The single biggest barrier to building wealth is simply staying stuck on the sidelines, paralyzed by inaction.
So the message is, ditch the get-rich-quick noise. Forget the drama of unstable windfalls.
We do.
And focus instead on that steady drumbeat of smart, calculated action, making that shift from scarcity thinking to strategic execution.
And that leads us to your final mission, pulled straight from the sources. It's a direct challenge. What is one small, calculated financial action you've been putting off?
One small thing.
Just one. This isn't about grand, vague wishes. It's about identifying that single piece of research you need to finish, that one system you need to set up, maybe that tiny investment you've analyzed but haven't pulled the trigger on. What needs to happen, like, now?
And let's be crystal clear on this point from the sources.
Oh, yeah.
Buying a lottery ticket does not count.
Definitely does not count. That's hope, not strategy.
Okay. Great place to leave it. We'll see you on the next deep dive.